Hi everyone. This recording will be on lesson 21 of Business Math A. The objective for this lesson is you will be able to apply formulas to find mortgage loan amount, monthly payment, total amount paid, and total interest charge. So if you have ever considered about buying a house in the future, there are some calculations you do want to understand. It's going to help you determine how much you can afford, what your monthly payment would be, etc. So we're going to start off with some key terms. First one is down payment, which is a portion of the cash price of an item you are purchasing, which you pay before financing the rest on credit. It is usually required when purchasing an item with an installment loan. Mortgage loan is a long-term loan extended to someone to buy property. Amount finance is the portion of the cash price owed after making the down payment. The APR, or annual percentage rate, is an index showing the cost of borrowing money on a yearly basis, expressed as a percent. Mortgage loans. A mortgage loan is a legal agreement where a lender, could be a bank or a credit union, offers money to you or a group to buy a property at a certain interest rate. So if you fail to, for example, make your monthly payments after a few months, the bank or the credit union has the right to seize and sell the property that you wanted to buy. So we're going to do a quick review on how to find mortgage loan in dollars. So here's an example. Martha and her husband are purchasing a house for $179,000. They put down $18,000 for a down payment. So how much is their mortgage loan in whole dollars? So all we have to do is get the down payment and subtract that from how much the house is selling for. That means 179,000 minus 18,000. The mortgage loan amount is $161,000. That means Martha and her husband would have to take out a loan for $161,000. All right, here's another example. This time, I don't give you the amount of the down payment. I give you a percent instead, which in reality, when you do buy a house, they don't tell you the dollar amount. They also tell you a percentage because it all depends on how much your house is. So here's an example. Paulina is buying a rental property. She finds a townhome priced at $146,000. What is the amount of her mortgage loan if a down payment of 20% is required? So the first thing you want to do is find out what is 20% of 146,000. So to do that, all you have to do is multiply 20%, remember, convert it into a decimal by moving the decimal place 2 to the left. 20% is written as 0.20. Multiply that by the house or the cost of the townhome, which is going to be $29,200. That means right off the bat, Paulina has to give the lender $29,200. Next step, we need to find the mortgage loan. That's subtracting the down payment from how much the townhome is priced for. That is $146,000 minus down payment of $29,200. That means Paulina's mortgage loan amount will be $116,800. All right. I want you to try one out on your own really quick. I want you to pause the video and then resume it when you have your answer. Alright, we're going to go over this. So just like the previous one, first thing you need to do is find the down payment. Down payment percent this time is only 15%. So we're going to multiply 15% by the amount of the condo, which is 205,000. So 205,000 times 0.15 gives you a down payment of $30,750. That means Philip has to give that amount when he wants to buy this condo. Second step, find the mortgage loan. Subtract the down payment from the cost of the condo, which is 205,000 minus $30,750, giving us a mortgage loan of $174,250. Alright, next we're going to find monthly payment tables. So this table is given to you in the textbook. Alright, so to find the monthly payments, basically, you're buying a house, you have to pay the down payment. Now you have a loan. You need to determine how much you have to pay per month in order to pay back the loan that you took out. And so to find the monthly payment, and again, this formula is for having the table. It is amount of mortgage divided by 1,000, which represents per $1,000 that you borrow, times the monthly payment of $1,000 loan. So this value right here will come from the table. We'll see an example in a bit so that you can see it. So before we do that, I want to review something from previous lessons with you. Eventually, we're going to have to calculate interest after we find the monthly payment. So I want to remind you on how to calculate interest. So here's an example. Jared's mortgage loan amount is $125,000. He financed his house for 30 years with a monthly payment of $652. What that means is he's paying $652 every single month for the next 30 years in order to pay off the loan that he took out. So we want to know, after 30 years, what is the amount of interest charged? So to find that, we take the total amount repaid. How much did he end up repaying for the loan? Subtracting the amount financed. How much did he originally borrow? And then that's how much we determine is the interest charged. So plug in everything we know. Amount repaid is 12, which is 12 months in a year, times the number of years we took out the loan for, times what the monthly payment is. So plug in everything we know. We know that Jared took out a 30-year loan. That's the 30 right here. And then every month he's paying $652. The amount financed comes from right there. That's how much the mortgage loan is, $125,000. So order of operation, we do everything inside the parenthesis, which is 12 times 30 times 652. Plug that into your calculator, you get $234,720. Now you want to subtract the amount financed, which is $125,000, from that. That means at the end of 30 years, Jared had to pay an interest of $109,720. That is a big deal. That's almost buying another house right there. Alright, so keep that in mind. We're going to be using that formula on the next few slides as well. So here's an example. Larry purchased a house for $214,680. The mortgage company requires 15% down payment, and Larry chose to finance the property for 20 years. That means he wants to take out a loan for 20 years at an interest rate of 7.5%. So we want to know the total amount of interest charged, rounded to the nearest whole dollar. So looking at the hint, it says first subtract the down payment from the selling price to find the amount financed. Alright, so then first thing we need to do is find the down payment. That's what we learned a few slides back. Multiply the rate, which is 15% down payment, with how much the house cost. So $214,680 times 0.15, giving us a down payment of $32,202. Next, we want to find out how much Larry has to take a loan out for. Subtract the down payment from the cost of the house, and we get $182,478. So keep that amount in mind, $182,478. Next thing we need to do is we need to find what the monthly payment is based on the percentage, the APR, and how long Larry is choosing the loan for. So remember the formula, monthly payment is equal to the amount of the mortgage divided by 1,000 times the monthly payment for a $1,000 loan. Here's the table that's given to you. What we need to do is we need to find 20 years at 7.5% interest. So we look at the column for 20 and then the row for 7.5% or 7.50, and where they overlap is 8.06. What that means is for every $1,000 that you borrow, you have to pay back $8.06 every single month. So that's what that means. Now we're going to use that number and we're going to plug it into the formula. Remember earlier I told you to keep in mind what the amount of the mortgage is. That was how much we had to borrow, $182,478. Divide that by 1,000 and multiply it by 8.06 because that's what we found in the table. Now, order of operation, divide inside parenthesis, multiply by the loan. And remember, it says round only at the end. So I kept this number at 0.478 just to make sure. Alright, multiply that by 8.06 and we get a monthly payment. That means for the next 20 years, Larry has to pay $1,470.77 every single month. Alright, next thing we need to do is find the interest charged. Alright, the interest charge is equal to the total amount repaid minus the amount financed. Earlier we learned total amount repaid is multiplying 12 times the number of years, which is 20 years, times the monthly payment of $1,470.77, minus the amount financed, which was how much we had to take a loan out for, which was $182,478. Multiply everything inside parenthesis and then subtract. We get an interest rate charge, an interest charge of $170,506.80. The question says round to the nearest whole dollar. So we're going to look at the 8 because that is more than 50 cents or 0.5. We need to round up, giving us a final answer of $170,507. I wanted to mention that to you because in your workbook and checkpoint, it does ask you to round to the nearest whole dollar, so you want to make sure you do it correctly. Alright, let's try another one. So, Chance purchased a house for $260,000. The mortgage company requires a 20% down payment, and Chance chooses to finance the property for 25 years at 6.5%. What is the total amount of interest charged? Round to the nearest whole dollar. So it is exactly what we did in the previous question, just different scenarios and different numbers. But steps are the same. First step, find the down payment. So multiply the cost of the house by the percent, which is 0.20, or 20%. The down payment is $52,000. Next thing we need to do is find the mortgage loan. Subtract the down payment from the cost of the house, which gives us $208,000. That means we are financing. We're taking a loan out for $208,000. Keep that number in mind. We're going to use that next. Step 3, same thing, find the monthly payment. We're using the table again, except for this time, we're looking at 25 years at 6.5%. So look at the column for 25 and the row for 6.5. We get 6.75. And remember, that means for every $1,000 that you borrow, you have to pay back $6.75 every month for the next 25 years. Alright, let's plug that into the formula. We get 208,000 divided by 1,000 times 6.75, giving us a monthly payment of $1,404. Step 4, find the finance charge. Total amount repaid minus amount financed. Same thing, 12 times 25 years times monthly payment of $1,404. Get that and then subtract 208,000 from there. That means we have an interest charge of $213,200. That means we could basically buy another house with that interest charge. Alright, I want you to try one out on your own really quick. Like earlier, I want you to pause the video and then resume when you have an answer. Alright, let's try this out. Same thing. First step, find the down payment. 20% of 157,500 is 31,500. Next step is to find the mortgage loan. Subtract down payment from the selling price, giving us a mortgage loan of $126,000. Next step is to look at the table and determine what is the monthly payment. So looking at the table, we're looking at 25 years and 8%, which is 7.72 this time. Plug it into the formula, 126,000 divided by 1,000 times 7.72, giving us $972.72. That's how much we're paying monthly. Last step is to find the interest charged. Plug it into the formula, 12 times 25 years times $972.72 monthly, and subtract 126,000 from that. We get the interest charge of $165,816. That's more than how much Nicholas paid for the house. Alright, so I've given you a lot of examples. Now I want us to do something a little bit more practical. And so I created this Excel sheet. It's pretty accurate. If you find an online calculator to calculate monthly payments and all that good stuff, it'll be very similar, just off by a few dollars depending on the rounding. But I want you to play around with this. I'm going to show you how to use it, but I do want you to do it on your own as well, just to give you an idea of what to expect in the future. So I want you to click on the spreadsheet, and it's going to pop up. Right there. Alright, so I just want you to answer in the gray columns. The white ones will not work for you because that is automatically calculated. So if you accidentally did it, it'll pop up an error message. So keep that in mind. All right. So going back here, I gave you some websites that you can use. You're going to maybe want to use one of these for your questions later. But you can choose a website to find the average cost of houses if you wanted to. This sheet is just to help you practice and give you an idea of what to expect on the information based on the information that you find. So for example, we're going to go back to that sheet really quick, start filling out some numbers. So for example, you can find a nice 3-bedroom house in Chandler for about $270,000 or so. So what I'm going to do is I will use that number and enter it under the cost of the house, right? And then the next thing we need to do is put down a down payment. So the percent of down payment depends on the loan that you get and from what lender it is. For example, you can get a VA loan that may require you to put 0% down payment, or there's a first-time home owner loan that may require 3.5. Other loans require 20%. So for that sake, I'm just going to put 20% in there. So you'll see 20%. So when you see that, it automatically calculates the down payment for you. So if you were curious, I mean, we did it earlier, all you're really doing is multiplying the cost of the house by the down payment. So if you hover over it, it says multiplying B column with the C column. So you don't have to do that. Remember, if you accidentally try to enter it into the white box, it'll mention an error. So you don't have to stress out about that. Anyway, so you found that, and now that we know, how much we have to put down as a down payment, it also tells us the mortgage loan amount. You should also know how to find that already. Alright, so next thing we need to do is enter in an APR. Remember, that's the interest rate. So you can look online to see what interest rate some loan institutions offer. So many loans offer between 3.75 and 4%. So I'm just going to enter in 4% in here. So automatically it calculates the rate per period, but just in case you were wondering, the rate per period is simply taking the APR, which is an annual rate, divided by 12 because there are 12 months in a year and we make monthly payments on our mortgage. Alright, so the length of the loan is how many years you will take the loan out for. So many people choose 30-year fixed loans. So I'm going to enter 30 years into here. So the number of periods, just in case you were wondering what that is, it's just multiplying the length of the loan by 12 because, there are 12 months in a year and you're paying monthly payments. So that means after 30 years, you're making 360 payments. So looking at all these data, you're now provided with the minimum monthly payment. That means if you buy a house that costs $270,000, you put down a 20% down payment with an APR of 4% for 30 years, you have to pay a monthly payment of $1,031.22. That's actually not bad at all. Alright, so next thing is finding the total amount repaid. Remember how to calculate that. We're just multiplying the monthly payment by how many payments we're making. And then the total interest paid is found by subtracting the loan amount by the total amount, which means, basically, it just means we're paying an extra, because that's what interest is, an extra $155,238 for the house. So keep in mind that you do not have to pay the minimum per month. So this is just this month or amount is how much you have to pay minimum. But in reality, you could really decide to pay off more. So let's pretend another scenario. Let's say you took out a loan for 30 years, but you want to set a goal for yourself to, let's say, pay it off in 29 years instead of 30 years. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy and paste some information that are the same, right? Let's pretend all of this is the same. I'm sorry, the length of the loan should be 29 instead because I said we should aim for 29 years. So notice the number of the periods now changes. We're paying it in 348 payments, right? So let's take a look. So now we're paying every month $1,049.70. So since we're taking less time to pay, right, 29 versus 30, the monthly payment has to increase. So right now, we're paying an extra of $18.48 per month just to pay the loan off in 29 years instead of 30 years. So I want you to notice the total amount you have to pay in interest though. First one was $155,238.13. The next one, the 29 years, is only $149,296.53. So that's a difference. If you want to subtract it, the difference in that is $5,941.60. So you're saving that much amount just by paying 1 year less or increasing your monthly payment. So that may not sound a lot, but if you think about it, $18 per month extra, neither, right? Does not sound a lot either. So you can even aim to pay off your loan in 15 years if you wish, or just pay the monthly higher than the minimum every month, every chance you get, and you know, the interest will still decrease. So 1 month you can pay 2,000 versus 1,400 or whatever, the interest rate will decrease and it makes a big difference. But remember, when you buy a house, just look at the contract to see if there's a prepayment penalty applied. So generally, this only apply if you end up winning the lottery and wanted to pay off your house right away. But if you win the lottery, you don't have to worry about the penalty anyway. So for the most part, the prepayment penalty only applies if you decide to pay it off at the beginning of your loan and whatnot. So I want you to play around with this sheet. Give yourself an idea. I know that you guys are still young and whatnot, but it's never too early to kind of get an idea of what it is you can afford, when you get into your dream career or have your dream business and whatnot. And I also want you to keep in mind of one thing is when you actually buy a house, there will be other costs, such as closing costs, that's added into the mortgage loan amount. But those extra costs won't make a huge difference in your monthly payment because it might just be an extra $3,000 or $4,000. All right. So these numbers are pretty accurate. Again, I do want you to play around with it, see if you can, what difference does it make if you were to, for example, um, increase your down payment to let's say 25,000 or I'm sorry 25% instead of 20%. How does that make a huge difference? And if you look, that's you're putting down an extra $13,500, but you're saving 10,000 in interest. So play around with those kind of things just to give you an idea and whatnot. But that is all that we have for today. If you have any questions on this recording at all in this lesson, feel free to reach out to me.